As a food safety professional, there are two things that keep me up at night, that make me not fall asleep. One is, how do I stop my customers from getting sick? And two, how do I keep up with federal, state, and local regulations? Hello, everybody, and welcome to Microbiology Explained. I'm your host for today, Dr. Yu, and welcome to the first part of our food safety series. In this series, we're going to go over the ins and outs and all things concerning microbiology and food safety. In this series, we're going to dive into the microbiology of food. We're going to talk about the good actors. We're going to talk about the bad actors with respect to food. We're going to talk all about such things. But first, we have to start with a very, very simple question. How do people get sick from eating food or drinking drinks? Now, this may seem like a simple, banal question to you and I right now, but remember, this simple question took centuries to get the right answer to it. Great microbiologists such as Koch, Pasteur, van Leeuwenhoek, Lister, to mention a few, spent lots of time and did lots of research behind it and came up with germ theory as a whole. One aspect of germ theory is the idea of a chain of infection, and that's what we're going to dive a little bit more into now. What's a chain of infection? It's the idea of what series of events must occur before somebody gets sick, or in this case, somebody gets sick from the food that they're eating. You must have an agent. This is a bacterium, a virus, a parasite, something like that, which lives in the reservoir. The reservoir is, where does it exist in nature? Where does it normally hang out? Where does it normally stay? From that reservoir, it must leave the reservoir through some sort of portal of exit and enter the transmission mode. What that mode of transmission takes it from one location to the other. From that location to the other, it will then go through a portal of entry. In our case, with food, it's food that's typically the portal of entry and food entering the mouth. And then some host who's susceptible to the disease then catches diseases and gets sick. Now, the chain of infection, your job as a food safety professional or a food professional in any way is to break that chain. If you break the chain, nobody gets sick. If nobody gets sick, you have happy customers and you sleep well at night. You can break the chain in many ways. From the agent to the reservoir section, from the reservoir to the portal of exit, you can stop the agent from leaving the portal of exit. You can stop it from entering the transmission, in this case, the food. Stop it from actually getting into the food or staying on the food, or stop it before the host eats it. There are many ways you can break the chain. To highlight this, let me just use an example, Salmonella. We all know this bacterium. It causes salmonellitis. That makes you go to the bathroom for a long time, gives you dysentery, makes you poop a lot, sometimes makes you throw up. It makes you very, very uncomfortable. A typical reservoir for salmonella is on the skin of chickens. It's associated with a lot of chickens that are there. When the chicken lays its eggs, it transfers the salmonella from itself to the egg. That's the reservoir or the portal of exit. Then that egg moves around from the farm to the grocery store to your kitchen. That's the mode of transmission. So now the egg has moved from a different location. And if you cook the egg and then consume it, and if you don't cook it properly or in the right way, there you've got the salmonella bacterium. It'll make you sick, and then you go on, exhibit the symptoms, etc., etc. You need to break this infection chain at different points in time. A concept that can be taken from this idea of the chain of infection is what the CDC describes as the pyramid of epidemiology, the relationship between the host, the agent, and the environment. These three things have a relationship. You and I are the hosts, the agent are the bacteria, the virus, the whatever germs are involved, and then the environment. Now, you as a food professional cannot control the host sometimes, and sometimes you cannot control the agent, but you can control the environment. And one of the things I strongly encourage my clients and people I work with to do is focus on the environment and see how you can control the environment. See how you can stop these pathogens, these bad disease-causing organisms from affecting the food. Sometimes the pathogens are innately in the food product already as it is, but sometimes they're picked up during the harvesting or the handling of the food, be it apples, grapes, wheat, rice, whatever the case may be. As it's being handled, the pathogens can get into the food. And then sometimes it's handled, pathogens are introduced during the processing of the food. When you're in the kitchen, you're storing in the fridge or somewhere like that, if it's a dirty surface comes into contact with the food, the pathogens get in there. You need an environmental program. An environmental program is a policy and a series of actions that you take to prevent any pathogens, to control that environment and break the chain or divide that triangle that you saw earlier on. Especially in this COVID era where people are more sensitive to illness. But as a rule, as a whole, in general, you need an environmental program. Now, it does not have to be complicated. It does not have to be expensive, but it has to be effective. You have to have a way of knowing exactly how well it's working and measuring that way it's working. You need to have an environmental program and you need to be able to measure the effectiveness of that program. In our next series of videos, we're going to go over many details of this. We're going to go over the general idea behind an environmental program, how it can work, what it can do, factors you should consider, etc., etc. And we're going to go into methods of detection. How do you detect some of these bad agents, these bad actors, these pathogens in the environment that are there? Then we would round up the series by talking about common pathogens, common agents, things, different things that can make you go sick. And we'll go into a little bit of detail as to them. So, in summary, to get sick, a chain of events needs to happen. Break the chain, and people don't get sick eating your food. Control the environment to break that chain. You need to control the environment, and we will help you learn how to control that environment. For now, I want to thank you for watching and thank you for your attention. Please like, comment, subscribe. That really, really helps the channel. Give us feedback. What more do you want to know about? What do you want to learn? What do you want us to discuss? What you really wish we delve into? What parts of food microbiology interest you the most? And if you give us those topics, we'll be happy to make videos in the future about them. For now, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.